Hello, and welcome back to Shrimple Stuff. This is episode 2 of Healing Waters, asking Reddit how aquariums help their mental health and their experiences with them. Narrated by a man who's got the world's most blocked nose, so I apologise for that. The first comment comes from JimFish98. While recovering from an MS attack, I was working a really stressful job. I stopped by a pond building company one day. Out working on the road, I was debating a koi tattoo and wanted to see some in person. I sat on a bench for an hour. Everything just faded away. A few months later, I built a version of the koi pond, and to this day, it has the same effect. My MS could have me feeling like complete rubbish, and I could walk out there and tinker with the filters, feed the fish, etc. And everything still fades into the background, and I feel better. Can't tell you why it works, but it has for 13 years now. Thank you very much for your comment, and it's really good to hear that you found something which helps you relax after such a horrible thing like an MS attack, and it's been working for you for so long now. And I wonder if you ended up getting that tattoo in the end, or did you just settle on having the pond and that was enough for you? I hope you're doing well, and once again, thank you very much for your comment. The next comment comes from Beanboy34. It gave me goals / a sense of purpose, something to spend my money on other than drugs / alcohol. Having a little piece of nature in my house is really relaxing. So glad to hear you are away from all the horrible stuff like drugs and alcohol, as I'm sure you know all it brings is misery and costs a lot of money. And I completely agree, it is awesome to have a slice of nature in your house that you can just escape into. Better than any drug or drink you can find out there. Thank you very much for sharing. The next comment comes from Frolfer. It's an extremely calming process. We lost our 17-year-old dog Maggie recently, and I immediately set up another tank. Good for the soul. My anxiety is lower when I work in the same room. My depression is alleviated when I feed them. And I find I'm more likely to practice mindfulness after a cup of tea in front of the tanks. Thank you very much for your comment, and I am so very sorry to hear about your family dog. But it's nice to hear, once again, that you've found an escape, and there is nothing, quite frankly, better than a cup of tea and staring at your tanks, and I get lost in them for hours. It's my version of meditation. Oh yeah, and that's just reminded me, I boiled the kettle about 3 hours ago. I suppose I better go and make that cup of tea now. This next comment comes from Fewbell8166. Looking after and playing my first fish Rory, in my profile pic, helped me through a tough time in my life, socially and relapsing into anorexia. He made me feel happy every time I'll come home from a tough day. I've cried when feeding him, and he sat with me at the front of his tank. I would sit and watch my tanks and he would come and sit with me. Sometimes I would sit next to the tank on my phone, and it was like he was watching YouTube with me. He was a friend when I had none. He's since passed, but my other betters are now the light of my life, literally like my little children. I know it sounds silly to most people, but when you actually get involved with the fish keeping hobby, it's amazing how attached you become to your little creatures that you spend so much time caring for and providing for. And when you think about it logically, the amount of time and dedication you put into it, of course there's going to be some form of relationship building there because you spend so much time with this fish. So I completely understand what you mean, and it's completely devastating when you lose your first fish. But here's to many more years of happy fish keeping. Thank you very much for your comment. The next comment comes from OffMyTits on happiness. I use my tanks for my mental health, struggled with anxiety, depression for over a decade. But there's just something about putting new plants in and seeing happy fish showing their natural behaviours that feels like meditation to me. It's very calming. I actually added some new plants this morning. Thank you very much for your comment, and yeah, I totally agree. As I said before, it's great. It is very relaxing, and it is my form of meditation. I can't think of anything better than sitting in front of my tanks, relaxing and just enjoying the view. The next comment comes from Abject Agency 6476. Fish are so much less work than my dog, but it really helps my ADHD, gives me something to focus on, maintenance, and something to watch when all maintenance is done. Thank you very much for your comment. As someone with ADHD myself, I completely understand where you're coming from. It actually keeps me in a regime and keeps me focused and helps me actually achieve other goals. And when I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed, it's a perfect place just to go and escape. Thank you very much for your comment. The next comment is from Esis of Skyrim. Initially, it was a trigger for my contamination OCD, but now it's been an opportunity to fight my compulsions, which is a perfect treatment for OCD. Plus my fish are beautiful and soothing to watch them. Thank you very much for your comment, and it's great to hear that you've found a way to combat your OCD with some exposure therapy, and I hope it helps you over time. Just a quick question as well. Do you know where I can get a slaughterfish? I'm asking for a friend. The next comment is from Ashen Moon. I started keeping fish at work, and it really helped me just at work. Watching them is meditative and brightens my day. I love my job, non-profit healthcare sector, but they're also an extra motivator to have a more consistent attendance. It's also a great icebreaker. A lot of staff are excited to see my tank and talk to me about it. Downside is sometimes I stop in the weekend and days off just to check on them. Thank you very much for your comment, and I would love to have a fish tank in my work, but unfortunately I work at night, so I don't think it'll be very fair on the fish. But either way, it's a fantastic idea, and a great way to keep you motivated to keep on going back to the lovely place that we call work. But keep up the good job, it's a fantastic thing that you do as a job, and thank you very much. The next comment comes from Okami. I have PTSD, and it's been a really calming hobby to get into. It's so nice to have a little chunk of nature to look at work, and the hob filter outflow is relaxing to hear. I love caring for my little shrimpies and seeing them thrive too. It's fulfilling. Thank you very much for your comment, and it's great to hear you found something that relaxes you and calms you so much. From one shrimp keeper to another, I completely agree. Shrimp are just great. You can sit there for hours and notice you got new babies, and you notice that the previous generation have grown bigger, started to colour up. There's so many different things you could just get lost in. It's a fantastic hobby. The next comment comes from Forgotten Hylian. I have double depressive disorder, chronic and major dysthymia, along with connective tissue disorder that exacerbates it. When my days are bad, being able to sit in front of my tank, a cat in my lap and a dog by my side as they notice the bad days too and want to help, things don't seem so bad. I've started doing maintenance cycles after therapy sessions. Having something hands-on to do can really help me clear my mind after. Seeing the plants grow, the fish thrive, gives me a sense that, just maybe, I'm not a lost cause. Thank you very much for your comment, and it must be very hard to live with those issues, and I'm very glad to hear that you find a way to cope with that. And it's so nice to hear that you've got lovely animals that seem to know when you're down and you have that support. I wish you all the best, and once again, thank you very much for your comment. You are absolutely not a lost cause, my friend. Thank you everyone who commented. I'm hoping that people are enjoying this content, and I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments, and please leave a like and subscribe. Happy holidays everyone, keep it shrimple.